this is where we left off. And as you remember from the last time we saw this cabinet, the whole top of this was, I had stripped all this down with denatured alcohol and steel wool. And what I've done is I've put on 2 coats of a stain, and I was trying to match the original finish as best I can. And it had a really bad stain on top, and there's still some little bit of light staining in here. I mean, I've got this under really bright light. So I put 2 coats of stain on it, and I chased it with 2 coats of a satin lacquer. And I could probably make that shine a little bit more if I wanted to chase it with another coat or 2 and then follow it with, say, 1000 grit sandpaper, wet sandpaper. But I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I kind of like the look, so we're just going to leave the cabinet go and take it from there. Okay, next here's the speaker grill cloth cover, if you want to call it that. It's just a piece of old, this thing was cardboard, and I guess the old grill cloth was glued all around the outside of this thing. Well, when I took it out of the radio, it just completely disintegrated and split, fell completely apart. And I was really disappointed because it had a really cool looking grill cloth on. I was going to reuse it. So this is obviously, I mean, I could glue it back together, but I didn't think it was worth it. And so instead of trying to patch up something old and tired, I tried to take, this is a piece of what they call masonite. And this could be found, I think I bought this in Home Depot about 6 years ago for not a lot of money. I think it was like maybe $10 or $12 for a 4x8 sheet. And this stuff is handy to have around to use for like making a back of a radio, like where it houses the antenna, or a back cover. And I've been working off the same piece now since then. I still have quite a bit. So I made up a new one. And I was looking around the shop for grill cloth. I thought I had some neat stuff, but I don't. But I remember this. I think I'm going to go with this. This is a grill cloth, basically, that came out. Actually, it's going to go on a thing like this. A friend of mine picked this up for me for all of $5, and it's just this huge sheet of grill cloth. And we found this in Kutztown at the radio swap meet. So I think I'm going to just use a piece of this, and then we're going to glue it onto that masonite using some adhesive, and then we'll put that back in the radio. Okay, so here's the status of the cabinet now. We had glued the grill cloth together onto that new piece of masonite, and also what I did was, just to give it a little more pop, I took the screws that mount the speaker, and I polished the heads. And it gives it a little more pop. And I didn't, sometimes when I do this, if I want it to stay shiny, I'll clear coat it with some clear lacquer. But I'll just let them age and tarnish on their own, and I think that'll look pretty good. But in the interim, it's not bad. And the bezel's on. We cleaned the bezel pretty good. We had one problem with the bezel here, and I've gone through this before, almost to the point where I've had to make a new bezel from masonite. And the early stages of plastics and injection molding really wasn't very good. A lot of this plastic stuff would crack and break and everything. So in the very corner here was chipped. I can see if I can stay the camera so you can see that real good. Let me back it up. Here we go. So you can see that there. So I glued that back on there. Otherwise it was split. It was actually over here. And I just drilled a real small hole to mount the screw. And it's almost totally unnoticeable. So all that's left is now is just getting the radio back in the cabinet and cleaning up in the knobs and putting it back on the radio. So let's finish her up. We're getting close. Okay, gang, here it is, all finished, all put back together. Alright, there's our new grill cloth. And I stained it a little bit, make the color of the grill cloth a little darker. I also took the screws and I polished the heads a little bit to add a little pop. But I didn't lacquer them, so that what they'll do is, after time, they'll just get darker on their own, develop a patina. So that looks okay. There was the dial, if you remember that. Let me see if we can get the... There we go. That's a good picture right there. I didn't have a better eye-tube, so I left that tube in here. One thing that's cool about the Silvertone knobs is that each one, right on the knob, tells you what it is. See, there's the volume. This one is for the band switch, right there. And I guess A is for American and F is for foreign. And then over here is the tuning knob. And you notice that in the band switch and then the tuning knob, they got the big S's on there for the Silvertone, I guess, logo. And then over here we have the on-off and tone switch. So I'm going to turn this light off so that you see the tuning eye a little bit better. We'll just go ahead and turn it on. Give it a second to warm up here.
To planning for a bigger emergency.
It's just so uncertain. This is unprecedented, uncharted territory that the consequences could be greater than we expect.
More than 50 American experts are in Japan,
That's WCBS AM in New York.
Nuclear regulatory. So full of fluid.
And that's what everybody should be doing.
Are you single now?
Yes.
So what are you?
That's WABC.
Wait a minute, I'm not looking for anybody.
Should I bring a cup?
Wait, do you know the saying by Frederick Langbridge?
That's WOR.
Lost 6-3 in New Jersey. He was in for the
There's
whole game
WFAN.
tonight. 3 goals against the doubles.
And you see that's about as spread as the tuning eye is going to get. So, anyway, that's it. The radio's all finished. Still uncertain whether I'm going to keep this one or sell it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep it for a little bit and play with it and then think about it. So, anyway, the operation was successful. It's not a museum piece, but it looks pretty nice. Just add that to my my collection. So, anyway, just figured I'd take the time to show it to you. And everybody have a good week out there. Play it safe out there. We'll see you real soon. Bye.